Okay. Well, that's all right. I didn't do anything fun and exciting either. It was a pretty chill weekend for me. So I just was around the house doing little chores and things. So nothing too big. Okay, so let's start. I think Leo, you have our question for the day this class. Should we get
Yes.
started with your question?
Okay. Uh, what would you want to do after the COVID?
Oh, okay. So what would you want to do after COVID? Is that what you mean? Give me an example. How would you answer this question, Leo?
Uh, I want to go amusement park with my friend and have fun there.
Okay, so you want to go to the amusement park with your friends. Good. All right. So that's a fun one. Now, did the amusement parks in Taiwan, did they close before the current time that you all have a lockdown? Did they close the whole time since last year? The amusement parks?
Uh, now they don't they don't open.
Okay. So they've been closed a long time too. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, how about someone else? So, Sandy, what do you want to do after COVID-19 and the pandemic is over?
I want to go abroad. Yeah.
Okay, and where do you want to go? What place?
Maybe Japan. Yeah.
Nice. Well, look at this. We're talking a lot about the Olympics, and they're going to be in Japan. All right. So maybe you'll go there after the Olympics and you'll see some of the Olympic decorations or the Olympic stadiums that were built for them. So maybe you'll see that when you go.
Yeah.
All right. Ray, what about you?
Uh, I haven't made a decision.
Oh, okay. Well, what's something that you haven't gotten to do for a long time due to COVID that you like?
Uh, uh, uh,
Do you like to play sports? Ray? Sports?
uh, yes, I do.
But maybe you've been playing sports even during the pandemic. Some people have been able to. And I know last year, you all in Taiwan did very well with the pandemic. So some in the outbreaks that many places had, you all didn't have too many of those in Taiwan. So that was really awesome. I know right now you have some extra cases and things, but overall, you all did very well with the pandemic. So maybe Ray, you've been able to keep doing all of your sports that you were doing before. How about Anna? Are you here? Anna, how about you? What do you want to do after the pandemic?
就是 COVID-19 解禁之后，你想要做什么事情？嗯，可以去看音乐会还是什么的。你可以说 I would like to，还是去购物还是看电影，随便一件事情都可以，没关系。
It's okay. Well, I'll give an example. While you think about one of the things you might want to do, I'll give an example too. One thing that I am looking forward to doing is going to a concert or live music. just going to be with other people, listening to your favorite band or music, being able to dance with other people. That would be, I miss that. So I can't wait till there are concerts and live music where you could go to a show. That's what I'm looking forward to. All right. Well, I know that Anna and Ray just keep thinking about that, but there were those were some examples, and I love that question. Good job, Leo. And I think after a year now of being or dealing with COVID-19, I think most of us are thinking about things that we really want to do after this is over. So, great question. Okay, so for today's class, first, I want to start with our homework. So I did receive homework from most everyone, most of our ninth graders here. And so what I want to do before I ask you about a particular section, one thing I found when grading all of your homework was there was a little confusion about a couple of words. So we had two words that we thought about, and I'll type them in the chat. They were dribble and bounce. So I will share my screen really quick because this was one that many people didn't get right. And I know why it's so confusing. Because dribble and bounce are basically the same thing. So, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So numbers 5 and 6. These were the two answers where we said dribble or bounce. And most people got it right for the most part of either picking dribble or bounce for either 5 or 6. Some people put dribble here, some people put bounce as number 5, some people put bounce as number 6, but most people got that it was either 5 or 6 between dribble and bounce. So I just wanted to say the difference between them. Does anyone know the difference, or does anyone want to guess what the difference between maybe dribbling and bouncing is? Okay. So this one, it's very there's not a big difference. The one thing I will say between dribble and bounce is that dribbling is usually we usually talk about dribbling a ball specifically for basketball. That's usually something that we do with a basketball. Now you can bounce a basketball, but dribbling is a move that we typically talk about when thinking of basketball, that someone's dribbling the ball. It's a part of the rules of basketball that you must be dribbling the ball if you're moving with the ball, or else that's a violation and that's against the rules. So usually dribbling, we're thinking of basketball. Now bounce, when we bounce a ball, you can bounce really any ball, even a basketball can be bounced. But bouncing is really just that the motion of it going, throwing it down to the ground and having it pop back up again. That's a bounce. So we can bounce lots of balls. Volleyballs bounce, soccer balls bounce. So you can bounce a lot of balls. That's really the big difference between dribble and bounce. And that's why with these two pictures, if you said dribble or bounce for either one, I didn't count it wrong. But it's something I saw a lot of people get confused on that part. Okay, so that was one of the items. The other one that I saw too was on the equipment versus sportswear. So here in part C, most of you, we had to put the different words into categories: equipment, people, sportswear, or place. Okay, so most people got them correct except for shin pads and helmet. Most people said that shin pads and helmets were sportswear. And I know why you would say that because those are things that you wear. You wear a helmet or you wear shin pads. And so, since we wear those like clothing or like a hat, we would think it's sportswear. But in most cases, when we talk about sportswear, we're talking about the actual clothing or the shoes even that you're wearing. So in this case, like t-shirt, boots, shorts, swim trunks, or a swimsuit for swimming, that would be sportswear. And things that we use for a sport such as a bat. Most of you got bat correct, or a net. A net is a sports equipment. A racket is sports equipment. The same thing can be said for a helmet and shin pads because those are protective equipment. Protective. So it protects us from getting injured. And so that is a type of equipment that we would use. So that was the other thing that most people got a little bit confused on that worksheet. Okay. So now the next thing I want to do is everyone in this section chose their favorite team sport. And as a part of your favorite team sport, you gave some clues as to what your team sport is. So for this section, I want to do that with the class. And so if you have your worksheets handy, look at the ones that I returned to you. If you made any mistakes in your wording, I corrected those or showed you the proper way to say the sentence you were writing. So if everyone opens those, I'll give everyone a few minutes. Let's play this game and let's see if your classmates can guess what sport you're talking about. Okay. So how about we start with Leo? Do you have yours open today?
Wait a minute.
Okay. Does anyone else have theirs handy or pulled up really quick? If you do, we'll start with you today. Sandy or Ray? You have your? Okay, Ray, I think I saw you nod. How about we start with Ray today? So read your sentences and remember, class, we're going to guess what team sport or what sport Ray is talking about. So let's listen to Ray's clues.
There are one or two players in each team. The players wear t-shirts and shorts. The players use racket. The players can hit the ball. The players can catch the ball. The sport is at court. The game lasts as much time as it takes for a player to win, usually over 100 minutes.
Okay. So the one choice that many of you had in this exercise was in the part where you say where the sport takes place. And there's a few prepositions there that we have that describe where you are. So you can either be in, on, or at. So in this case, you said it was played at the court. But in this case, we would say on the court because the court is something that's on the ground. And so we play on top of the court. So that would be the appropriate word there. The sport is played on a court. Now, you could play in a stadium. That would be an example of some place that you play inside of because the stadium surrounds you or is over you. So you would play in a stadium. And you can also play at some places too. So you could play at a ice rink. You could do ice skating or skating at the ice rink. So that would be an example. So we'll talk about that as you give. So class, does anyone know what sport Ray is talking about? Does anyone have a guess? Played with a racket.
Okay. Is it tennis?
Ah, right? Yeah, it's tennis. I believe so, right? That's correct? Tennis? All right. So who's next? Let's see. How about Sandy? You got that one
Oh,
correct. Let's have yours.
okay. There are 16 to 20 players in each team. The players wear shorts and clothes, and the players use their hands and bodies. The players can throw a ball and dodge a ball. The players can kick the ball at other players. This sport is played in the stadium. The game lasts 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay. So what does anyone know the sport Sandy's talking about? Hmm. She said a key word. She said that players can dodge the ball. Hmm. Hmm. Does anyone know a sport where you dodge the ball?
Uh,
You maybe play this at school on the playground. That's where
uh,
I played it a lot. Did you say it right? Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Dodgeball. All right. So that is Sandy's sport. Awesome. Okay, Leo, did you pull yours up?
yes.
All right. Let's hear it.
Uh, there are 5 players in each team. The players wear vests and shorts. The players use their hands to throw a ball into the basket. The players can pass and run and score. The players can kick. This sport is played on court. The game lasts 48 minutes.
All right. What game is he talking about? What sport?
Ba- basketball.
All right, you got it. Basketball. Good. Now, Anna, do you have this one? I know that you maybe you didn't get that assignment. Did you have this assignment? Maybe not. I know you're new to our class from last week. Go ahead.
念吧。
We can skip
Okay.
her. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then what we'll do is now one thing, and you can just mute yourself then, Anna. Okay. One thing I want to point out when all of you were speaking, Leo, you did a good job tonight of pronouncing the T on the end of can't. So when many of you were saying your sentences and there were things that players can do and things that players cannot do. And so just making sure to pronounce the T at the end of can't. So when we say things like, for instance, let me share my screen again. When we say something like, the players can throw the ball, the players can't catch the ball. We want to make sure that we pronounce that T because if you don't, it sounds like both times you're saying can. If we don't really put a little bit of emphasis on the T to make sure that we can hear it, the players can't. We want to make sure we can hear that T, or else it may sound like you're saying can 2 times. The players can. So that's a good to always put that on your T's for can't. Okay, this is something I heard as many of you were talking. Good job, Leo. I did definitely hear your T there. So good job with that. Okay, So that was something from your homework last night. And today, to continue our lesson, we're going to talk more about play, go, or do. So this is what we talked about in our last class when we use the words play, go, or do when speaking about a sport. So let's take a look at this little review. Okay, so first, can anyone tell me a rule or a time when you know that you should use the word play? Does anyone remember our rules for when we would say play a sport?
Ball sports.
Great. Great. That's a big rule. Ball sports. So, we play team sports or ball sports. Very good job. So ball sports, baseball, tennis is a ball sport, basketball, football. These are all ball sports, and they are also team sports. So we have kind of both ball or team sports there. There are some other rules though for using play. So we also use play for other sports where we need an opponent. And also, it's used for non-sport games like board games or other types of games. So let's take a look at these. So I think most of us know team and ball sports. So how about Ray, can you read the bullet points that we have there? I play.
I play football on Saturdays.
Keep going.
John plays rugby. Helen plays basketball. Monica plays hockey.
Okay, so those are all examples of ways we use play for team and ball sports. Team and ball sports. Okay, so the next category were sports where we have an opponent. So tennis is a ball sport, but it's not really a team sport. So we can say Fred plays tennis because he has an opponent. He has someone who he's playing against. It's Fred versus an opponent playing against someone else. All right. And how about Leo? Can you continue the next two sentences?
Harry plays badminton.
Mhm.
Sandra plays golf. Golfing is possible too.
Okay, so that's we talked about this a little bit with the observers, but golf is a sport where you can say play or go. So Sandra plays golf, or we could say Sandra is going golfing, or Sandra goes golfing. So there are so some sports maybe will can use either more than one word. So either play or go, or maybe go or do. But not very many sports for do. It's mostly sports that can use both play or go. But golf is one of those. So, okay. Last, all right, we have board or card games, etc. So, how about Anna? Can you read these bullet points here? We.
We play poker on Friday night.
Mhm. Good.
I sometimes play
Scrabble.
Scrabble.
Scrabble with my students.
Mhm.
Let's play chess every week.
刚才
Good.
后面背景太吵。
Play. Plays chess every week. So we can see here we have some board games like Scrabble and chess, and we also have a card game like poker. Okay, so those are things that we play. All right? So next, go plus a sport. Does anyone remember our rule for when we use go with a sport? Can anyone remember?
only one person. Individual. I don't know how to say. Individual.
Yeah, one person, or I think were you saying ending in
Individual.
Oh yeah, yeah,
individual?
yeah.
Individual. Okay. Sports you play along, individual alone or individual sports. Okay. And there's another big clue to when we use go. It's about how the word ends. How do sports end a lot of times when we use go?
Uh, Moving from one place to another place.
That's good. That's correct. So things like, for instance, swimming. When we go swimming, we are swimming from one place to another. That's a very good point. Now, a very good way to spot them too is looking for the ing. So, we use go with a sport when the name of the sport is a verb in the gerund form, which is the ing form. So, gerund is just a fancy way of saying a word with an ing on it. So, things like jogging and swimming. How about, go ahead, Sandy, could you read the first two bullets there?
Okay. I go jogging every morning. Mary goes swimming
Uh-oh.
after.
After school. We'll say swimming after school.
Okay,
Okay.
something like that.
hmm And how about this next one? I haven't seen Zoe. Are you in class today? I didn't see Zoe on my screen. Zoe, are you there? Okay. How about Ray? Go ahead and read this next sentence.
Uh, which should I read?
When the
Oh,
in the second box.
when the weather is good, I go climbing with uh, G-
Jerry,
Gary or Jerry once a month.
once a month. Okay. So when the weather is good, I go climbing. Okay. And how about Leo finish us off?
Jerry and Diana went fishing at the weekend. Fred likes going sailing.
Oh, and it was fishing. Wow. On the weekend. That should say on the weekend. But go fishing on the weekend. Fred likes going sailing. Okay. So we had some examples here. Now, if we look at all of these ing words here, they are all ending in ing, but just like Sandy said, except for maybe fishing. Fishing's really the only one that has an ing, but most of these involve going from one place to another. So when we climb, we go from the top, we climb up, or we go from the bottom, and we climb up to the top. Swimming, we go. Jogging, we go. So that's a good way to also know. And last here, we have do. So our do sports are sports that are more individual but without a ball. So this was good. Sandy mentioned individual sports, and there were some that we could do, like golfing is an individual sport, but it has a ball too. Do we use for individual sports without a ball? And so these are not team games. They could be martial arts or they could be leisure activities. So let's look at a few examples. Okay. How about Anna, not team games? Could you read those two sentences?
Gray and else else do
Athletics.
Athletic.
athletics.
hmm
The trees didn't
Gymnastics.
gymnastics last year.
Last year. All right. Good. Okay. And how about Sandy, martial arts?
Sandy.
Sorry. Monica does karate.
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 Karate. Dan does judo.
Okay. And last but not least, how about Leo? Leisure activities.
Uh, Gillian does meditation every morning. My
Meditation.
friends, meditation.
Mm-hmm.
My friends and I do yoga at the park.
Okay. So we do yoga and do meditation. All right. So now that we've done a little review here, I would like everyone to take a look at the worksheet here. It's in the chat. If everyone scrolls up in your chat, it will be the worksheet that says Do Go Play Grammar Worksheet. Do Go Play Grammar Worksheet. Okay. So it should look like this when you have it. Now, each person will need to write down their answers, maybe separately, since we're all going to share this document. But there are 15 sentences here, and each one has a sport or an activity. And so just replace the sport or activity in red with the correct word do, go, or play. So in this example, the example here, we have bowling was our word, bowling. And so we changed it to we like to go bowling every Saturday. Go bowling. Okay. So each sentence you'll pick go, do, or play. All right. I will give everyone about 6 minutes and then we will come back and go through the answers, okay?
You all have this document, right? Okay, good. I would like to take advantage of the opportunity to tell the observers that when you join a group, you can always scroll up to see if there's any lesson plan or teaching materials to download. And you can also text your question for Quentin now, because we have a few minutes while students are working on this document.
Mhm. I actually have a question for the observers and anyone who can feel free to answer. And Luke, I know that you also have experience with many languages, but for those of the observers or anyone else who has learned other languages, whether it just any English other than any language other than English, were other languages that you found, did many of them have a lot of rules and then many exceptions to those rules? I know that as an English learner, even, and then as a teacher of English, one of the hard concepts and one of the hard things for me is teaching a grammar rule or teaching something, and then of course, when you pick an example or when you try to think of something that applies to that rule, you undoubtedly always pick an exception or some particular word that doesn't really follow that rule that you're trying to teach. So I just want to know, does this happen with a lot of other language, or is this something that's
Uh,
particular to English?
uh, of course, of course. I study many different languages, and I read so many books about English grammar, so I know how to teach English grammar. But I don't know how to teach people speak Mandarin when it comes to grammar, because we grew up speaking this language, so we never have to study grammar, Mandarin grammar. So it's interesting that you mentioned this. So if I want to teach you Mandarin, I have to study a grammar book and figure out how to teach you to follow sentence patterns. And of course, there are so many exceptions. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah,
and
that's a very.
it's a shortcut to learning another language. I mean grammar. So it's very useful, and but it's hard to teach if you speak this language. If you are a native speaker of this language, that's ironic.
It's very ironic. I have definitely found that there are some complicated um, grammatic rules and even things that we don't even realize that we do in English, things that we match up or in your native language, not just English, in any native language that you speak, there are things that you automatically do just because you've grown up doing it. You don't have to think about it as a rule that is applied. You just automatically know to do it. So, mhm. Oh, yes. I'm glad one of the observers spoke about Spanish. I'm currently learning Spanish, as some of you may know from previous classes. And yes, I have found that the same true, Lauren. Spanish, I've found easier for some of the grammar because it's more consistent, it seems. But this question came to mind because I was speaking with one of a Spanish tutor that I have, and I was asking, well, is there any way that you know that a word is feminine or masculine? Because that's a concept that we don't have in English, where nouns are gendered. And I know that like, oh, if it ends in an O, it's usually masculine. If it ends in an A, usually feminine, but not always. There are lots of examples where that's not true. So that just got me thinking of that. Okay, students, how are we doing on the worksheet? Raise your hand for me if you're finished. I can get a clack here. Okay. Okay.
So
So
Sandy and
most
Leo are finished. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Well, here I will say we're going to start going over probably in the next 30 seconds. So finish up your last couple of answers and we will start going over them. Okay. So let's get started with our worksheet. All right. So first up, let's start with Ray. What do we have for number one?
Uh, go.
Let's go cycling in the park tomorrow. And you can read the full sentence as you give your examples. Okay. How about Leo, number two?
Susan and I want to go swimming at the beach.
At the beach. Good. Sandy, three.
My father loves to do exercise.
Do exercise. All right. And Anna, number 4.
I baseball with my friends twice
Twice.
a week.
Twice a week. Okay. And so when you do this, do you play baseball, go baseball, or do baseball with your friends?
Uh,
Play, do, go，
Play.
选一个。
play.
Yes, there you go. Play baseball because it's a team sport with the ball. So we use play. Okay. Back to Ray, number 5.
Mr. Brown can't go jogging because he hurt his foot.
All right. Sandy, 6.
I have a tent, so let's go camping.
Perfect. Leo, number 7.
Many people like to watch or play basketball in the United States.
All right, great. And Anna, we're back to you for number 8. Would
我吗？
哎，Anna，
would
Would
you like?
you like to finish with next week?
Mhm.
go do play要
Go
选一个。
or
Or go.
Go fishing，OK。
go
你
fishing.
可以跟家人讲说，现在先这不要讲话，背景很吵，谢谢。
And now Ray, number 9.
Sometimes I do sit-ups.
Good. That was a good one. We haven't looked at sit-ups. Does everyone know what a sit-up is if you're doing sit-ups?
Uh,
Everyone know?
仰卧起坐。
You've got to get those really hard abs. There you go. For doing your sit-ups. Okay. Now, number 10, Sandy.
I don't like to play tennis, but I like to watch tennis.
Good. Leo, 11.
Uh, does he like to go hiking in the mountains?
Great. Very good. Ray, number 12.
Uh, many people like to many people like to watch or play hockey in Canada.
All right. Good.
Maybe zoom in a bit.
Zoom in a bit. Okay. I can do that. There we go. That's better. Okay. How about Sandy, number 13?
I see you have a ping pong paddle. Do you play ping pong?
Okay. And how about Leo, 14?
I joined a yoga class. Now I do yoga almost every day.
All right. And Anna, number 15. Finish us off.
My dad like to play
Volleyball.
volleyball when he was younger.
When he was younger. Good. All right, everyone. Good job with that. I think everyone had the correct answers there. So, now before we go, let's talk about today's homework for later. So, later, if you go on your Google Classrooms, you will see today's homework. It's a quick assignment and it's just a little, I've called it a quiz, but it's not really a test. But it is to see how many you can get right, and it does give a little gauge with how well you're doing. So I believe it's out of 16, yeah, 16 questions. And of course, if you get 15 or 16 correct, that's really awesome. And then down from there. So try to complete the worksheet. And when you look at your Google Classroom, I've given a PDF of the worksheet, so the first document, and then there's an answer sheet. And the answer sheet is in a Google Doc or in a Google Word doc. So you should be able to write the letter of the response, A, B, or C, for the correct answers. So I know last time some people had some trouble with the worksheet that I posted on Google Classroom. So this time I've also put a Word document or a Google Doc that you can use as your answer sheet. Okay? Does anyone have any questions today? Okay. So let's see. Anna, what do you think? What is something that you may want to do after the pandemic? Did you think of something that you haven't gotten to do for a long time because of COVID-19? And now something that you really want to do once COVID-19 is over? What is something you want to do?
这是解封之后啊，你
哦，
要想要做什么？COVID-19 解封之后，
I
Oh.
I want go to shopping.
Oh, you want to go shopping?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, because a lot of the stores are closed, I bet. And what about you, Ray? Did you think of something that you would like to do once COVID-19 is over?
Uh, I want to go to Wimbledon and watch Djokovic and Federer's matches.
Oh, wow. Okay, Wimbledon. I and one of my goals or a dream that I have is to go to every tennis major. So Wimbledon, French Open, US Open, Australian Open. I would love to go to every one once, each tournament one time.
will you be the player, or are you in, or you being just in the audience? Maybe you will be like number 2 seed player or number 1 seed player.
I wish my tennis racket is very dusty, and not just because of COVID-19. It was dusty long before that. So I think Ray has a better chance of competing than me.
Yeah, maybe you'll beat your idol.
Yes. Yes. Okay, class. Well, great job today. I know play, go, and do are it's a hard concept, and some of it is just practicing and getting used to saying sentences with the sport and play, go, or do. So just keep at it. You all are doing well with that concept. So good job tonight, and I will see you tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow 10 a.m. Taiwan time. Okay. All right,
Okay.
let's unmute our mic and say thank you, Teacher Quentin.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
teacher
Quentin.
Quentin.
Have a good
All right.
night. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.